If you're thinking about getting into woodworking, these are the tools that I think are most important and will help you actually get projects done. Number one, the table saw. The table saw is the heart of any small shop. If you watch any of my videos, you know that they pretty much all start on the table saw. I have the 3 horsepower industrial saw stop table saw with a 53-inch Biesmeyer fence. You don't need that saw. If money's no object, I highly recommend that saw because it's a good saw, it's safe, and it's kind of a forever tool. But if money is an object, look around in the used tool market, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something that'll save you money and get the best table saw that you can afford. Before I got the saw stop about 4 or 5 years ago, I had this Powermatic that I used for maybe 20, 25 years. And before that, I had a Delta contractor saw, and I was able to build a ton of projects with it. After the table saw, it's a pretty close toss-up between a miter saw and a nail gun compressor combo kit. A nail gun is going to allow you to easily attach pieces together. So I'm going to pick the nail gun over the miter saw simply because you can probably use a circular saw where you might be using a miter saw. Let's go with the combo kit. Get the combo kit and focus on the 18 gauge nail gun and the 23 gauge nail gun, depending on what kind of work you're doing. In a cabinet shop, I rarely, if ever, use a 16 gauge nail gun, but you would use it if you're doing trim work. So for me, the guns that you'll see on all of my projects are the 18 gauge nail gun and the 23 gauge nail gun. Very handy tools, and you're not going to have to break the bank to get into a compressor nail gun combo kit. Probably somewhere between $300 and $400 will get you set up. So after the nail gun, then I would go with the miter saw. Again, you don't need to break the bank on the miter saw, but if money's no object, I would get the Festool. I've had that now for about 4 or 5 years. It's a great saw. Before that saw, I had a bunch of different saws going from a Delta to a Hitachi to a Bosch, and they all work. They're all going to allow you to make miter cuts, which will allow you to make picture frames, will allow you to do trim projects in homes, like putting down baseboard, crown molding, things like that, or dressing up cabinets in the shop. So that brings us to 3 main tools. The next tool is a drill driver circular saw combo kit. You'll be able to pick that up for anywhere between maybe $350 and $550, depending on what brand you go for. Again, you don't have to break the bank on this. If you're not going to get super serious, you can go with Ryobi or Rigid. If you want a better quality tool, maybe you want to go to Makita or Milwaukee. But those tools will allow you to get so much done. I generally keep a pre-drill and countersink bit in my drill for the most part, and then in the driver is what I use to drive screws. You do have to be a little careful because you can easily break screws if you're driving screws with an impact driver. So if you're not comfortable doing that, you can use your drill with a clutch. But over time, you kind of get the feel and the sound of driving screws with an impact driver. With the combo kit will come a circular saw. There's a bunch of different combo kits and you can get different tools in them, but I suggest the drill driver circular saw to be probably the most useful. You can use the circular saw for home improvement projects, breaking down sheet goods. I even have a video where I built a bench just using the circular saw and the drill and driver. Maybe I'll put a link to that video down in the description below. It's a good beginner woodworking project. Next, I suggest a cordless router. And I suggest cordless over corded because you don't have to deal with cord management. It can be difficult to kind of keep the cord out of the way while you're working with the router. And so because I suggest a cordless router, you want to keep that in mind when you're looking for your combo kit to make sure that the tool that you buy also makes a router. Most of them do. I believe that Ryobi does. I know that Rigid does, Milwaukee, Makita. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for your cordless tool combo kit, because once you buy the tools, you kind of want to stay on that battery platform, because I can take this battery out, use it in my circular saw. And because I have a few batteries, I can always have one in the charger, which means I always have a charged battery. I like a small router like this because it's just very easy to use. If you've watched any of my build videos, you'll see that I'm using this for probably 80% of the projects that I build. And I only use like a handful of router bits. Basically a chamfer, a roundover, a bead molding bit, a flush cut bit, and maybe something else. But I'll put a link to a video on the router bits that I use most. So really handy tool, a small router like this. And then last I'll say is an inexpensive sander. You don't have to break the bank on a whole sanding system. You're just getting started. But like I said, if money's no object, then look into, you know, the surf prep sanding systems where you have the vacuum, the sander, all that stuff. But if money is an object, you can go ahead and just get one of these DeWalt's or something else, and you should be able to get it anywhere between like $75 and $100. That'll help you smooth over the edges and really just get your projects going. With these, and I'm including the drill driver circular saw as one tool because it is a combo kit. I'm calling this a separate tool. So basically you've got 6 tools is what I'm saying. With the 6 tools that I just pointed out, you can make a lot of furniture. I've produced a ton of projects over the years, and for the most part, these are the tools that I'm using. Of course, you're going to end up acquiring more tools as you need them. So this is a good way to start. Get your basic tools, and then when you need something like an angle grinder, buy that and think about the battery platform that you're on. So my angle grinder is a Milwaukee because I have Milwaukee tools. Those are the tools that I recommend. I think they're the tools that I use most, and I think you can build a ton of projects with the tools that I just went over. If you'd like to build the furniture for your home, I have a ton of woodworking plans on my website, and they all have video tutorials right here on YouTube designed to help guide you through the project. So I hope that you'll visit my website at johnpeters.com. Check it out and let me help you with your next woodworking project. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Here's a look at the project that I'll be posting next week. Please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it.